We're following breaking news, a reported explosion at a foundry in Ozaukee County. Initial reports are that 2 people are critically injured. Flight for Life has been dispatched to Johnson Brash Machine Foundry. A total of 3 helicopters have been requested. We're also hearing of other possible patients being taken to the hospital by ambulance. The extent of these injuries not being made public at this time. The first call came in a little more than an hour ago. The fire is now at 2 alarms. Now, we are getting images from the scene. Take a look. This was tweeted to us from Jared. He is on the scene right now where one of the Flight for Life choppers has landed, and as you can see, there are several fire trucks lined up near the critical point of this explosion.
Here's what we know about the company. According to the website, the Johnson Brass and Machinery Foundry has been around since 1905. They have 110 full-time employees. They manufacture metal components made from copper, aluminum, nickel, silver, and stainless steel. They also build themselves as one of the most advanced facilities in that industry.
We have crews gathering information from the scene. We've checked local maps. It appears there are large clusters of homes and an elementary school just north of the plant. We'll be following this story on the air and on the line. If you're in the area, please just send us a tweet or a Facebook post at CBS58.com. We'll continue to follow this breaking story throughout the night and bring you updates as needed.
Now to some of the other stories we're following tonight. A ceasefire isn't very effective unless everybody involved agrees to it.
There were more shootings over the weekend, claiming 3 lives as Milwaukee ceasefire week drew to a close. CBS 58's John Coco joins us live downtown with more. John?
Paul, Michelle, if there's one thing everyone seems to agree on here, it's that violence continues to be a big problem in Milwaukee. The question now is how to fix it. Can you? The mayor says that he's working on this on a number of fronts. His critics want something much more specific. And for the people that live in those neighborhoods where this violence is taking place, well, they just want change.
And I'm walking in between bullets.
Fear.
Why are you scared of your own kids?
Frustration.
We ain't got no hope out here, man.
And anger. All feelings voiced Monday afternoon at this public meeting with federal, state, and local leaders, including Mayor Barrett and Alderman Ashanti Hamilton.
There has to be a change, and we better start looking for miracles, panaceas, silver bullets. We have to start looking for it because they're dying every day.
The idea behind the meeting was to tell people about what's being done to combat violence and to provide information about work opportunities.
All this violence and crime, this doesn't have to be.
Sean Moore is one of the many people who live in this neighborhood, looking for solutions to the bloodshed in the city.
Seeing these mothers and these fathers go through what they're going through when they don't have to go through it.
Mayor Barrett says the city's working on this at every angle.
And we're trying to deal with this issue from an employment perspective, from a safety perspective, from a real estate perspective. We know that there are challenges with the poverty that we have in the central city of Milwaukee.
What has happened to Milwaukee?
A tough question from Alderman Bob Donovan, who's asking the mayor for a more specific plan targeting the violence.
I don't think it's unreasonable that he offer a 5 or 10 or 20-point plan with a timetable and with goals.
Now, Alderman Donovan admits he doesn't have a more concrete, more specific plan of his own, although he did continue to advocate for more police on the streets for the public's sake and for the department. For now, we are live in Milwaukee. John Coco, CBS 58 News.
Thank you, John. Milwaukee's police chief warns that his force is only part of the system and that the root cause he's identified with gun violence in our city needs to be addressed.
Well, I know we're not going to solve poverty overnight, and therefore violence is going to disappear. But I certainly recognize the correlation between the two. We can't pretend that highly concentrated, families of intergenerational poverty in substandard houses in neighborhoods characterized by abandoned housings are going to be vulnerable to crime. The vast majority of our crime victims in this city are poor people. The vast majority of our crime victims look exactly like their offenders. The vast majority of crime is intra-racial. It's concentrated. We know where it is. The only solution can't be the police department. We're going to do a damn good job. We're going to lock you up. We're going to seize your gun. But we're part of a much better, bigger governmental system. And we cannot do it alone.
And Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark is putting the blame squarely on the mayor, issuing a statement that says, in part, ideas along with a vision and a plan for reducing the growth of the underclass in Milwaukee are the job of Mayor Barrett. Furloughs and laying off law enforcement officers are risk factors for crime and violence. Barrett can be found blaming Governor Walker and the Republicans in the state legislature for his own failure to lead Milwaukee effectively. You can see my uncut interview with Chief Flynn and the sheriff's statement in full by going to our website, cbs58.com.
Sounds like something out of an old Lassie episode. The Washington County Sheriff says a dog roused an entire family from their beds after their house caught fire in the town of Jackson overnight. All 4 people inside that house were then able to get out safely. It appears the fire started in the garage, and not counting the dog, there were no working smoke detectors.
Milwaukee is continuing its efforts to clean up the city after dozens of water main breaks over the weekend. At this point, officials say there are less than 10 water mains that need to be fixed. Officials say when they had to close the Howard Avenue intake plant because of a major leak, they were expecting water mains to break, but they weren't expecting quite this many. Those water mains are popping because officials were forced to increase water pressure from the Linwood plant to reach all water customers. Officials are in the process of upgrading the city's water main infrastructure. They're replacing them one by one as fast as the budget will allow. But there are almost 2,000 miles of water mains in Milwaukee.
We have a very aging system, and we slowly but surely continue to improve on it. Things like this happen when you have a city as old as ours with an aging system. Situations like this will always happen.
At this point, water has been restored to the majority of customers, and all the broken water mains are expected to be fixed later tonight or tomorrow. As of today, more workers are patching those potholes that are tearing up your car. The Department of Public Works brought in 25 new workers to help its regular crews, and they'll fix the potholes for the next 6 months.
We couldn't keep up with what we had as far as our employees. So it's like I said, it's nice to have them around because at least this way we can get a lot more done.
This program has 2 goals: fix the potholes and help the temporary workers, many of whom have criminal backgrounds and are trying to get their lives back on track.
A local church now facing foreclosure over unpaid water bills. But the church says there's something deeper at work here, and they're not going down without a fight. CBS 58's Lane Kimball is live in Pewaukee.
So who are they fighting, Paul? Well, the city. When Spring Creek Baptist Church first tried to move out here from Milwaukee in 1994, church leaders tell me someone from the city told them, quote, "We don't want a black church here." Now 20 years later, the church still feels discriminated against.
Enough is enough, we've said. We're going to fight this.
Spring Creek Church Finance Chairman Tom Stricker wants the city of Pewaukee to know it's gone too far.
This sense of sadness really kind of permeates the entire congregation. None of us want to be at this point.
The city and Waukesha County are foreclosing on the church. The reason? Unpaid water runoff fees dating back to 2010.
The city of Pewaukee has internal documents where they acknowledge that our property does not provide any stormwater to the Pewaukee stormwater system.
Pewaukee considers the church a user, but the church argues this retention pond makes them self-sufficient.
Here they are being charged a user fee for a system that the city admits they don't use. And when they're asked, well, why are you doing this? How does that come about? They're given no explanation at all.
Absolutely. It costs many millions of dollars to meet the requirements that the department has put into place.
Pewaukee city leaders say the DNR forced them to create stormwater elimination systems about a decade ago. Because the church covers close to 600,000 square feet of paved area, it needs to pay its share, a ruling the State Public Service Commission upheld last year.
Cities have to figure out a fair way to pay for those mandates, and you try to place the cost fairly on every property owner, and that's what was done here.
The PSC's informal report does recommend the city offer the church the largest possible discount. That would cut annual payments to around $8,000. The church thinks those payments are still unfair.
How much that surface runoff area contributes to the city stormwater? Well, that's zero.
Now, the church's lawyer filed a petition opposing that foreclosure this morning in Waukesha County Court. I'm told the church is also considering filing discrimination charges against the city for what it says are years of intimidation. We are live in Pewaukee. Lane Kimball, CBS 58 News.
Lane, thank you. The state has settled a lawsuit filed over the Zoo Interchange reconstruction project. The suit was filed in 2012 by the Black Health Coalition and Milwaukee's inner city congregations Allied for Hope. It argued that the state wasn't providing enough alternate bus routes to get city residents to jobs outside of the city. Today's settlement awards more than $11 million for those routes. It also provides $2 million to get the word out about those routes. A resurfacing project kicked off on Howell Avenue today. A 6-mile stretch of Howell from Grange Avenue to Oakwood Road will be fixed up. 2 lanes of traffic will remain open during the day, 1 at night. The project is expected to wrap up by late fall.
The damage to a state office building in Madison now estimated at $500,000. A fire broke out on the 4th floor of the GEF1 building on Washington Street early Friday. That building houses workers from the Department of Workforce Development and the Department of Children and Families, many of whom are now working from home. We should find out tomorrow when they can return. Jesu Church on Marquette University's campus was packed today as funeral services were held for former Wisconsin Governor Patrick Lucey. Lucey died on Monday at the age of 96. He served as governor from 1971 until 1977.
Coming up after weather, we've only had a few warm days so far this year, but already there is one confirmed case of West Nile virus in a bird in the state. Where it was found later in the show.
From the CBS 58 Weather Center. Now, your complete First Alert weather with Mark McGinnis.
Okay, so the trees are starting to pop. The temperatures that came up nicely over the weekend finally feels like spring is here. Meteorologist Mark McGinnis is also here. He's in the weather center.
Something fishy out there. Yeah, it started to warm up. How about that? Yeah, about time, too. And with the warm-up, we're tracking showers and thunder showers here across southern and central Wisconsin on this Monday afternoon. Currently here in southeastern Wisconsin, we have some rain, generally in Milwaukee, along the lakefront, also into eastern Waukesha County, too. These showers are pushing off towards the east. They covered quite a bit more of real estate in Milwaukee County just about 15 minutes ago. But again, these are pushing off towards the east. To the north, this is a steady rain now in Ozaukee County. Sheboygan County has been for a while, and then west into Fond du Lac County, too. These showers are continuing to push off towards the east. Note on our lightning strikes, no cloud to ground strikes. That changes, though. Note the number goes from 0 all the way up to 114, 115, because we have showers and storms up towards Toma, and then some lightning strikes back towards Iowa County, too. These storms are all pushing east. So if you're watching tonight, Jefferson County, Dodge County, Walworth County, and then eventually into Waukesha, Milwaukee, this area rain will be arriving, and with it some lightning and thunder as well as some pretty decent downpours out of it, too. Current temperatures. With the cloud cover, we've seen the temperatures drop this afternoon. Currently at 56 in Milwaukee with some rain showers out at the airport. Still at 63 in Watertown. So where you find breaks of sunshine, temperatures are still in the 60s, but they're going to be few for the remainder of this evening. Let's take you out towards Waukesha, where it's 59 right now. And looks like some breaks in the clouds out to the west. An east-southeast wind of 9 miles an hour under those mostly cloudy skies. For this evening, here's what you can expect. Scattered showers and thunder showers all the way through about midnight tonight. 53 degrees will be your overnight low. So let's track it here on First Alert Precision Forecast. Still some showers and thunders at midnight. It looks like by 4 o'clock in the morning or so, that should come to an end. If that's the case, then it looks like a dry morning commute on your Tuesday. It's something to keep an eye on. As we push through the day, very warm tomorrow, at times a little humid. And by 5, 6 o'clock through about 10 o'clock, the chance of some thunderstorms. Right there, it looks dry. We're going to find thunderstorms develop either over southern Wisconsin or northern Illinois, and some of those could be rather strong. Look at the high tomorrow. Talk about things popping, not only thunderstorms, but it's 77, more greenery, too. Wednesday, sunny, a high temperature of 78 degrees. It will cool down towards the end of the work week, at least lakeside, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
All right, thanks, Mark. Still ahead at 5. If you haven't already booked your summer camping trip, you may want to get on that. We'll explain why.
Plus, a multinational crackdown on hackers. You'll want to hear what some of these computer whizzes are capable of next on the CBS 58 News at 5.